Look, I'm just tryna be alright with it. Yeah, I'm just tryna be alright with it. Yeah, I'm just tryna see the light in it. I think we should take a ride with it. I'm just tryna spend the night with it. Yeah, I just wanna be alright with it. Yeah.
Yes, y'all. To the beat, y'all, and you don't stop. It's Julio Vasquez here live, and I'm in my living room, and I'm with my man, the nice one, the icy one, Matty Ice. Talk to me nice, or don't talk to me at all.
Episode 4, baby. We're here. We got a great interview. Julio,
Episode 4?
Yeah, this is number 4. We got a great
We're
interview.
moving, baby.
Tell the people about the interview we just had.
We just had a very, very good interview with my man, Dev Gilligan, New Hampshire product, Division II product, who played in 5 continents, man. He had a hell of a story, a hell of a journey.
It was a great interview. Julio and I, Julio just started to get to know him, and obviously,
Right.
I've seen him play, and it was cool talking with him. And man, I'm a big fan. Dude's a hell of a player, so it was pretty cool, to hear his story and stuff. So
He's definitely a hooper. me and Ice kind of just got familiar with if you talk too close to the mic, you can get a strange effect. All right, we're bullshitting. Matty, you wanted to talk about some things, man. We can debate here.
Yeah, so we did this interview with Devin last week. Even though we're putting out this week, he had some time, some downtime with I guess some COVID's going on in Norway, and they kind of not in lockdown, but like the league shut down for a little bit. So we wanted to use that time to interview him. Kind of the same thing with Troy, right? Both interviews were last week, but putting out this week. So some of the stuff we were talking about happened this week, and one of the things me and Julio were discussing before the pod started was the situation that happened with Duke. So Julio, what was the question you posed to me?
So the question was, and again, I just want to say Johnson. I don't want to, make this a whole, Twitter link. We're not that famous. I'm just saying, like, if it blasts, but the Johnson kid from Duke opted out of his season at Duke because he wanted to get ready for the draft. And I asked Matty, did he consider it quitting like everyone in the country is, or is it literally opting out? So go ahead, Matty. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he quit on the team. That's my opinion. And, I think we live in a society where now people are like defending this kid saying, oh, he's not quitting. He's opting out because of his future and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. Hold on. Opting out would have been if he opted out before the season, like any other NFL player, NBA player. If you're, if you don't want to COVID and all that stuff, I respect that. Right? You got to do what's best for you.
Right.
You're playing in a season. You decide to play. Your team sucks.
Bad. They're bad.
You're not even going to make the tournament, and now you quit. You're quitting. If you ask me, you're quitting. Oh, well, he's going to be in the NBA draft, so why? No, you decide to play. Like, if I was his teammate, I'd be pissed. That's the way I look at it. Like, I'd be like, yo, this dude quit on us.
He put in the work in the preseason. He did all the stuff. Yeah. And that was my question to you. I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to say this before I forget this because my memory is a little shot because, whatever it is, but, maybe it's the water. If Duke was a top 10 team in the country, I don't think he would have quit.
And I think that's the best point you can make is that it's because it's just a situation they're in. They might not even make the NIT. So it's like he's just quitting on the team. If they were top 10, they go in the tournament, 100% he'd play because that would help his draft stock.
Right.
But to me, he quit. There's no anybody says, oh, we're attacking this kid. He opted out. It's his choice. No, well, it's my opinion that I can say he quit.
And it's like, I think he left too. I don't know if he left the facilities. Like he just left Duke in general. And, from my experience, from what I know, Duke is it's a university that has like a good medical facility. It has a good training facility and has one of the best facilities in the country. Why would you want to leave that? Why would you want to leave that to prepare for the draft? Were you going to go to your crib and do you're going to do push-ups and sit-ups in your crib and work on your backyard? Where are you going to go?
Do the jail body workout. I don't know. It's like, it's funny though this year. I think you really are seeing the, kind of people's character, coaches' characters, the program's character and culture. because Duke's not that good. North Carolina's not that good. Kentucky's not that good.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State's not that good. Like all these top programs are struggling this year. And I think you really see, a program's culture and the coach's, character. Because I think Coach K's been a little bitch this whole year. Like, this, that, and that, and that. It's kind of like how Bill Belichick was in the NFL this year to me. It's just like, it's too many at the end of the day, excuse, right? You're
Right.
playing with the same circumstances as everybody else. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
All I hear is excuses, right?
And you mentioned the North Carolina and the Kentucky guys. The guys who are projected to be draft picks on those North Carolina and Kentucky
They're
teams
still playing.
are still playing.
Yeah.
They're still playing. Like the BJ Boston kid from Kentucky, he's having a horrible year. They're losing to everybody in the SEC, but he's still playing. He's going out there every day and he's playing. The guys in North Carolina, they're still playing. So like you said, it's setting a bad example for the kids out there who kind of like go to school, transfer. And it's like, he's not transferring, he's opting out. But at the same time, bro, do you think Grant Hill would have opted out during this time?
No.
You think Bob Hurley would have opted out?
This I'm gonna pose this to you. And this Davis Tucker, I know he's a listener to the show, big Duke guy. I love that kid. I love you, Davis.
Shout out to Davis Tucker. Man.
But I'm about to take a kind of dump on your Dukies. Now, here's my thing. I started to notice is like, is it the Duke culture where you're just soft? Like, are these what NBA player that's come out of Duke who's been a top pick, who's actually played well? Now, I know Tatum I think he's still going to be a good player, but I still think he's soft as hell. And he got to fix that shit. Like I'm sick of like Jason Tatum telling me, yo, Kobe was your role model stuff. You don't ever compare yourself to Kobe because you don't play with that Mamba mentality at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's soft. He's talented, but he's soft.
And you're a fan. You're a Boston Celtic fan. So
I'm
it's
a
like,
fan, but I'm concerned about that. Like the only dude to me that's coming out of Duke, and you could tell me I might be forgetting people's names, like that recent, but like I think like Bagley, Jahlil Okafor, all these dudes have been kind of whack. Like
Brandon
Zion
Ingram.
Williamson to me is a dog. Like I'll take Zion Williamson any day of the week. That dude plays with a crazy motor, and he's tough. Like he's other than him, I can't really like. I like Brandon Ingram. I think he's talented, but again, kind of, I don't know, soft, sort of. I don't know. It's just I don't feel like the dudes that come out of Duke, they have talent. It's not talent, but like, what's the mentality that they come out with? Like, obviously, Kyrie's a really good player, but I don't really. I love his game. I just kind of his brain and everything. I don't know. He's kind of crazy, but I guess my point is seeing how this Duke kid, right, just quit on his team and how Coach K's kind of handled this whole thing. It's kind of making me think like, what's that culture like?
Yeah, it's changed. I think it's changed dramatically. And I think, again, everyone out there needs to understand that this is kind of our opinion because, I mean, you've never quit. I don't think I've ever quit on a team or I've ever quit in a situation that I was making me uncomfortable or I wasn't satisfied with it. And it comes with a sense of entitlement. Like a lot of players are entitled, like the 5-star McDonald's guys, they're entitled and rightfully so, I guess. Like, I guess you're going to be a one and done guy, I guess. But if you're going to go to a place like Duke, like it's a standard. Like Duke's a standard, man. Like you got to stay, whether you like it or not. You got to play through Coach K. You got to play through whatever you're going through and not make excuses. Like you said, like Coach K is not a guy who makes excuses, man. He's been doing this a very, very long time. And I just think he's a lot for him to allow that to happen. Like you said, it's saying a lot, regardless of the situation. COVID, you're playing. You're here.
I get it.
You're
COVID.
losing, but you're playing.
My thing about like Coach K this whole year is that he's been back and forth with the whole thing. Like at the beginning of the year, he was like, all teams should make the tournament. Now that was sketchy. It's like every team should make the tournament. No,
yeah. Everyone gets a trophy.
It's almost like you were setting yourself up because you knew you weren't going to have a good year. Then they play. Then they start to suck. And then he's like, oh, why should we be playing because of COVID? It's like, okay, would you be saying that if you were 6-0, 7-0? I don't think so. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But since your team sucked, then you're like, oh, why are we playing?
I think the Alabama coach said something about that. Oates. I think he said something about
that. They came out. Yeah, they did come out and call him out. Coach K has taken a big hit this year. I think he's looked really bad. And I get it. Like, you and I aren't medical experts and all that stuff. I get COVID, but it's like, you can't have it both ways. You can't then now switch back on what you said. So, but I guess I thought you made a good point about entitlement. You and I are also talking about the Draymond Green thing that's, kind of taking the league by storm in his comments. And if people don't know what he said, to sum it up, he pretty much was pissed off and going off about I always want to say the Pistons because that's where he played, but the Cavaliers
The Pistons.
they sat the Cavs sat Andre Drummond because they're trying to trade him. And, Julio, you're on the side, you kind of, agreed with Draymond's point. So, what do you agree?
Well, I mean, again, it was so because Draymond, he does speak for the NBA guys. He really does. And I think as the year has been going on, the NBA season has been going on, I've been leaning more towards the NBA guys. I know the whole Kyrie thing was kind of like a real weird time for NBA guys or guys who like love basketball. Like you just like just play. Because, selfishly, we want to see them play. That was the thing. We want to see Kyrie play. So we're just like, yo, why are you not playing? You're being a detriment to the team. You're not playing. We don't like that shit. Like, that's me as a fan. I want to see you play, but overall, I understand. I think I understood what Draymond was saying because, I think people in the NBA or NBA players are feeling like a piece of property, and with all this stuff that's going on with just the racial injustice and kind of having a voice and being able to speak with your mind and even things like social media giving you kind of that platform to be who you are. I think. Players have the right to stand up. I think what Draymond did, I think it was the right thing for him to talk up for the people. I don't know.
I think I don't have any problem with anybody speaking up. That's not my issue in this is what he was actually saying. I don't think he portrayed it the way he wanted to. Because my thing is this. He was trying to say like the Cavs like embarrassed Andre Drummond. If the Cavs didn't pay Andre Drummond and sat him out, right, then I think they have all right to be pissed. That's bullshit. But they paid him to sit. They're paying him. At the end of the day, I hate when they say like, "Oh, well, we're not these owners' property." No, you're not their property. You're an individual. It's a free country, but you are an employee of the Cavs. You signed a contract. They pay you money. I think we're getting to this point in the world where it's like, what? The NBA players don't want to have a boss. Well, how do they get their checks? Someone signs those checks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there has to be, players should have their right to speak out and whatever. But like, then he started bringing up the James Harden thing and how he was, people started hating on him because he wanted to trade. Well, here's my problem with the James Harden thing. He has all the right to say he wants to get traded. But the Houston Rockets organization did everything for that guy. And they still ended up trading him where he wanted to go. But like James Harden was getting paid and he was visibly dogging it. He was getting paid and not giving a max effort. That's wrong. That's wrong. You're getting paid to give your all. And then Draymond kept going on about like, oh, well, we got to be in shape. Well, dog, you're getting paid $30 million. You should be in shape. You're a basketball player. Like, so
you should want to be in shape.
It was, you know what I'm saying? There was things he was saying that I don't agree with in the sense of, this is where I think entitlement in the NBA, like, like these guys don't have it that bad. NFL players have it bad, right? Mm-hmm. They're giving up their bodies a lot more. And they're not getting paid like NBA players do. NBA players' contracts are mostly guaranteed. NFL players usually don't have guaranteed contracts, or a lot of them don't. So, like, I think that's where I'm saying, like, we're getting a little too far away with, like, these NBA players and entitlement. Like, the Drummond thing, the dude's getting paid. I know he wants to play, but at the end of the day, it's not his choice. He's getting paid to sit on the bench. I don't think that's a bad thing. He's getting paid a lot of money. And he has a boss. That we work for people. That's me and you. We work for people. Someone else signs our check. So I don't know. I don't think that thing was that bad. And, again, Draymond's the right to have his displeasure, but I don't think what the Cavs did was wrong.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, I agree with some. I agree with some of it. I disagree with some of it. I want to go back real quick to the James Harden thing, and we can kind of wrap this up. The James Harden thing is this. James Harden was dogging it. You're right. You're absolutely right. He was dogging it, but that motherfucker was averaging still 25, 9, and 8 or some bullshit like that, dogging it. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why the Houston Rockets were holding on to him for so long is because you know what? People are still going to watch the Houston Rockets game. People, the Houston Rockets still want to gain some revenue for as long as they can with James Harden. You know what I'm saying? Andre Drummond, is he the most famous player in the NBA? No. Is he the guy that everybody kind of want to watch? No. So I guess Draymond's overall point was it depends on the player. Like people went at Kyrie, people went at James Harden because, again, we as fans we want to see that.
But
you know?
The Kyrie thing, the only thing I had an issue with Kyrie, like if Kyrie's having mental issues, whatever, mental health, I think mental health's a huge thing. So if he was having that, there's no problem with him not playing. But he never communicated with his coach or the organization, which I think is wrong.
Right.
If you're having
Yeah.
issues, tell somebody, right? I mean, you can't get help. That's why I thought like there was something else going on. Like you should tell that's your organization. That's who pays you money, who signs your check. So to me that, and I get the James Harden thing, right? He was still playing, but he was being a detriment to his team. He wasn't like giving his best ever. He was still scoring, obviously, because we play in a soft ass era of NBA basketball. But that's another point we get to. But yeah, I mean, whatever. But
what a weird thing. What a weird thing.
It's just it's a weird world we live in, and everything's under the microscope, and it sucks, you know. But again, our opinions, and if you don't,
it's
agree,
our podcast.
It's our podcast. But before we get into
what we want, Maddie. We do what we want.
Amen. You sound like Batman when you do that shit. But before we get into the interview with Dev, we kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about you know, because we've had a lot of people come on already. This is be our third guest, yeah. And second overseas player. So Julio and I actually got a chance to play overseas, not professionally, but like in college. We're at St. Joe's. We were lucky enough to go on an awesome trip to England, in Europe. You know, it was our first time. That was my first time out of the country. I'm assuming it was yours too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
it was crazy.
It was an awesome trip. And we just kind of want to talk about like, you know, the experience of playing, you know, professional basketball players. Now it's England, so I don't think their basketball leagues are that high. You know, I don't think it's like the high level of basketball, but it was cool playing, you know, pretty much we were playing grown men, and, you know, in a different country. And, you know, Julio, kind of talk about your experience, what you thought the playing level was like and the style of play.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously different. It was 100% different. Before we talk about hoops, though, I just want to let those people know who are gonna go overseas for a short trip. Bring a lot of clothes. I didn't bring a lot of clothes, man. I didn't bring a lot of shoes. My jeans were too baggy. You got to bring more than one pair of jeans, and make sure your hair is cut. But yeah, the style was completely different, man. I mean, you know, we saw the level of play kind of, you know, up and down throughout the entire time. That we saw really good players, and then we saw not so much talented guys. But you know, us, Maddie, we like to defend. You know, I guess Americans like to defend and get into you, and that was kind of our issue. Like, you know, we would get called for ticky-tack fouls. You know, trying to fight through a screen. You know, boxing out. We were getting called on like a lot of ticky-tack stuff. And I guess the reason for that was because they wanted to see the more the pureness of basketball, right? They want to see the game flow rather than kind of it being a rugged and physical basketball game. Other than that, man, I enjoyed playing overall there. Like the crowds kind of like were really behind the professional teams. Yeah. You know, like everybody kind of did their research on us prior to the game, so they can kind of like make chants and make fun of us prior. I was honestly concerned prior though, because I didn't know if we beat a team or if we did something that was kind of considered dirty. You know, I didn't know if they were going to be throwing batteries or some shit from the stands and something. So I was kind of like on edge, you know, with my trash talking and shit like that. But overall, I just think the basketball experience there, it was once in a lifetime, man. Once in a lifetime. And I credit to those, you know, guys like Dev and, you know, Troy, you know, who play there 8 months out of the year, man. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, because 8 days over there or however long we were there felt like a long time. You know, we were tired when we came back from that trip. And, you know, these guys are over there for months on end, and they're grinding every day. But, yeah, I thought, you know, a couple things to me that stood out was like I didn't love the ball. It was a different ball. I didn't like that ball. I didn't like the feel of it. The paint was a little wider than the paint that we play in America. But I thought, you know, like to your point, that was the hardest thing for me was adjusting to the officiating. I think when, you know, we were there, it was 2011, I think. And I think in America still, I believe, you know, I don't think they really, because I feel like my junior and senior year, they started really enforcing hand checking. Yeah. Like that was like the, you know, point of emphasis. But like, I think in 2011, you could still play physical. And like when my first 2 years in college, I felt like it was really physical. And that was like one of the biggest changes from high school to college, I thought. And, when we went over there, I wasn't adjusting at first. I'm getting up in a dude, we're taught like, hey, when you're guarding the ball, you got to put pressure on the ball. You have help behind you. So you got to pressure the shit out of the ball. So I remember in one of the games, I literally picked up 2 fouls in like maybe 40 seconds. Yeah. And I was like, and I'm looking at the ref. I'm like, what did I do wrong? And I just remember Santa Cola pulling me over. He's like, yeah, you got to adjust. They're calling it way different. But I was like so pissed because I'm like, I'm just playing D. Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything different. Like, I don't know what the hell this dude's calling. So it was definitely a big adjustment. I thought it was a cool experience playing different, professional guys. I know that we played a team that had an American. They flew him over almost like it was like a trial, but I don't know if he was going to get paid after that because we whooped their ass. But
we got in their ass like Preparation H.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. I will say England's breakfast, not that bueno. The food overall wasn't that great. But the drinking age was 18, and Julio and I you were 20, I think. I was 19. So
I was 20 acting a little funny.
I think one of the coolest things is after one of the games, we all went out as a team, which was cool. And, someone called the head that we were with and said we were NBA players. So we got like the VIP treatment. In England, right? Basketball is not like they wouldn't really know. So, it's a soccer place, and actually like motocross was their second highest sport. So like, they don't know, but they gave us VIP passes and all this crap to this club that
it got ugly. It got ugly for sure. It was a good time, man. It was like 3 levels. Like the club was like 3 levels.
It was
like
wild.
Techno, hip hop, and then I don't know, something was going on the 3rd floor. But me and Maddie were just bouncing from floor to floor. All right, let's go. What song is on? Let's get it popping. And then afterwards, we had some food, and then we got into a little scuffy.
We got a little scuffy.
Got into a little scuffle.
As I tell my parents, it was the first punch I've ever thrown and the first time I ever got clocked. And now we will say me and Julio didn't start the fight. We were just trying to get some teammates that were involved in it out of there. And let's just say at one point after I got my, face punched, I was, I got one of the people up out of the, scuffle. I don't want to get too specific, but I turned and just see Julio fall over all the bikes. Now, there was probably about 20 bikes that were like, chained up, and
they all went down.
They all went down. Julio's on top of it, bro.
And I think because of the night, like I think that credited to that. It wasn't just me getting knocked out into the thing. I think I didn't have much in the tank, I guess, at 3 a.m. in England, in a dead end street. So I think me resting on the bike was more or less for, to catch some Z's.
Just a quick cat nap. But we didn't get back that night till like 5 a.m. It was wild. I'm glad no one got really hurt, or arrested or anything like that. But we got back at like 5 a.m. We had to wake up at 7 a.m. to eat breakfast. No, to eat breakfast.
Which wasn't good.
Not good at all. Not good at all. So we're on like 2 hours of sleep. Then we were going to London for the day. So we had to pony on up to London and be out there like on 2 hours of sleep. Hungover as hell. My head hurt. I got punched in the face. And
my jeans were too baggy. My jeans were too baggy.
Shoes are too tight.
Shoes are too tight. It was bad.
And then when we got back, we ended up obviously getting in trouble. So we had to run sprints when we got off the bus. Coach Sanicola pretty much was like, "You guys have 15 minutes to grab your running shoes."
and our where we were staying was 10 or 15 minutes away from where we were eating.
All the way back, get our stuff, come all the way back to the soccer field, and we ran sprints. That wasn't fun. And then the next day was like one of the last 2 days we were there. We actually had to play our last game, and me and Julio just talking about we were playing with some like 40-year-old dudes. This dude was like my dad out there just throwing bows. And I was like, I remember telling James on the bench before, like, James Philbrook, bro, played like the best game of his life because the dude bowed him in the chest, and Philly 5 was pissed. And
scored like 10 straight or something.
Oh yeah, like, it was incredible. But I remember before we went in before James and I checked into the game, me and him were just sitting there. And I looked at him. I was like, bro, I am so sore and miserable. I don't want to play right now.
I've got to get home, man. You got to get the hell out of here.
But then, right when we checked in, mindset changed, baby.
Completely.
Once I saw that dude throw that bow, it was over.
And that's what we do. That's what we do, baby. At the end of the day, we're hoopers, baby. We're junkies. That's what we do.
yeah, really, to wrap it up, just really cool experience and, something that I'll always cherish and remember, being able to, have that opportunity. So,
One of the best times of my life, Maddie, for sure,
oh,
man. One of the
easily,
best
easily,
100%, man.
easily.
I would never trade St. Joe's for the world. I'll never trade that experience for the world, man. It created a brotherhood that will last forever, for sure.
And here's the interview with Devin Gilligan.
Okay, joining us now, live from Norway, I'm pretty sure, is Dev Gilligan. Dev, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too, man. Dev, quick story before I get into your accolades, man. We first saw you at the Noonan Nation tournament about 2 years ago. And, obviously with Duncan Robinson on your team, that was kind of where the noise was going. But I'm not going to lie to you. I became an instant fan when I saw you make a play. So you come down, you're inside the 3-point line. Guys are kind of like laying off of your jumper, which I didn't know why, because you shot 46% from three in college. They were laying off of your jumper. You come down, and correct me if I'm wrong. You put the ball between your legs, inside out dribble. They went with the inside out dribble. You did a big boy spin to your right hand, put him on your hip, took him for a ride, and you laid him. Now, after that play, man, I just became an instant fan. I didn't know who the fuck you were. I'm not gonna lie to you. I asked man, I was like, who the fuck is that? 6'5", stocky, big base, man. And like I said, I just became an instant fan after that. And that's why we kind of wanted to get you on the show, man. You're from New Hampshire. Obviously, you played with one of our teammates at the tournament, Chris Petsy. It says here that you went to Kimball Union in 2013 in Meriden, New Hampshire. And then you went straight to Augustana University for 1 year.
I was say Augustana University in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Yeah.
And it was only 1 year. I saw a video. You said, you took the offer because it was the only offer that you had out of Kimball Union.
Yeah.
And then after that, you kind of went to Southern New Hampshire and you took over. You were NCAA 2 Division II All-American. The NABC, you were NABC All-American. You were the D2 CCA East Region Player of the Year, NE10 Player of the Year, All-American, NE10 First Team, All East Region First Team, 20 points a game, 58% from the field, 46% from the three. That's the type of shit that we like, man. Like those under the radar guys, guys that nobody really talks about. You became a pro. You went to Australia. You played in the Canadian League, the NBL. Indonesia, Sweden, and now you're playing for Frøya Basket in Norway, correct? Correct, man. Damn, what a hell of a resume, man. Tell us about that. Tell us about how it all started, man. I want to know, like, from Kimball Union, and then how did, like, go into Augustana and then go on there for?
Yeah, so it all started. I was playing public school basketball in New Hampshire, and basketball is not too big in New Hampshire. And I wasn't a huge player either, but my dad actually played at Norwich University, in Vermont, and his old like grad assistant, I think it was, when he was in college, got the head coaching job at Kimball Union, which is a prep school in the NEPSAC. And he liked the way I play, and they were able to work it out so I could go up to school there for 2 years, play against some better competition. And that really helped me get better. When I was at Sauhegan, which was the school I went to, I probably didn't project into a college player, but I was always I always played hard. I was a pretty big kid, 6'4", 6'5". And I think he just kind of liked the way I played hard, and I got to play around really good players, like a lot of Division I guys, guys who played at good Division II schools, good Division III schools, NESCAC schools, and like being around that every day, it really helped me get better. And I thought after that, I thought I could have played Division I after those couple of years, but I didn't have any recruitment. Didn't have any Division II recruitment either. Me and my dad emailed every single school, and I think the country, I want to say. Literally, I remember sitting in the basement, we emailed everyone. And like some would respond and like send out like a little pamphlet or something, but that was it. And then my coach had some connection with an assistant coach at Augustana. So he pretty much on his word was like, you got to take this kid. He plays hard. He's a good teammate. All this, and it ended up being a really good Division II school. But yeah, they offered me literally. I don't think that the head coach had ever seen me play. And he offered me a full scholarship. So I took it. I went on a visit there. I didn't think twice about it. Committed. And yeah, it wasn't fresh. It was a really good Division Division II. I think they're actually Division I now. But it was really good. They won the national championship a couple of years ago. But it just wasn't the right spot for me. As far as like who I am as a player, they kind of wanted me to be something that I don't think I was. And so I told them I was going to transfer. And then I went home on spring break after my freshman year. And I was kind of sneaking into the SNU gym to go work out. And they were having me playing pickup. And I hopped in, and I knew the assistant coach because I grew up in the Manchester area, like 10, 15 minutes from SNU. He's like, yeah, Dev, just hop in. I hopped in, and they had other recruits there playing, and I was just killing them. And they offered me a full scholarship on the spot. Like, they never recruited me anything. They just offered me a full scholarship. Stan Spiro is a legend, right? And my sister worked at the like bar that he used to go to, at the country club. And she was like, she talked to him like a week before and was like, yeah, my brother can play. And but they didn't have anything other than that. And I don't know, luck. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And I mean, those 3 years, man, at SNU were like, it couldn't have been any better. You know, I had like the best time of my life. I kind of came in as a role player, 6-man. We had a really good team. I think we made to Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament. Won the conference the next year. Again, I was a role player, a little bit bigger role. And then my senior year, you know, it all came together for me as an individual player. And I had some good numbers and stuff like that. And but we lost in the championship, which was just disappointing. But yeah, it was an amazing career. And these last couple of years, I mean, I can kind of go on forever about those. But I mean, I've seen a lot of the world, seen some really cool things, met some great people. Still get to play basketball every day. So it's been a fun journey for sure.
Dev, it says that it says that you were drafted and you played in the G League. What was that like?
So when I was coming out of college, I had crazy numbers. Like, I don't know exactly what they were, but I know they were crazy, like the percentages.
I told you, bro. It was 20 points, 58% from the field, 46 from three.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I remember, like a lot of agents reached out to me, but they were like, because it was essentially because of that 3-point percentage, because you guys know the game. And I played the 4 in college. Like, I was like the 4. So they're like, oh, this guy's a 4 and he can shoot almost 50% from 3 or something. So a lot of agents reached out to me, and I ended up signing with LeBron James' agency, Klutch Sports. I mean, they flew me out to Cleveland, and they treated me like a star. Like, they treated me really well. So I signed with them out of college. And which was really good people. My agent was a guy named Andy, who was like one of the guys who started it. But really good people, but it just ended up not being the right fit for me. But so the G League, so they put me in the G League draft. They marketed me around, and I'm sitting at home, and I get a call from Elton Brand. And he goes, hey, Dev, we'd like to invite you to training camp. We're going to draft you in the G League draft. I'm like, oh, sweet, sounds good. And I go down there, and I mean, it was really cool. You know, I was teammates with Emeka Okafor, Jacob Pullen, you know, like a lot of really good players. But what they wanted from me was like, you guys have seen me play enough. Like, they wanted me to be someone who you run off. They wanted me to be Duncan Robinson, right? Like a shooter. And that's not my game, you know?
No.
Which, even though I can make a high percentage of my threes, it's not, especially from that NBA line, man. Like,
it's different.
It's different. But like I'd be down there, and I thought I was playing good, like defensively and like snatching rebounds over people's heads and stuff I do, but it just wasn't the role they were looking for. So they had one of their first round picks, Furkan Korkmaz. I think he's a guy from Turkey.
Yep.
I might be saying his name wrong, so I apologize if I am. But they sent him down, and that happened in my roster spot. But it was cool, you know, good first experience. I've thought about looking back into making another run at it now that I've kind of come a little ways as a player, but I don't know. We'll see. It was a good experience for sure.
It's just different, right? Like the G League, in the sense of when I don't know, I've heard different people talk about their experiences in the G League. Like, it's kind of like if you're in the G League, you're pretty much telling yourself or that you're going to probably make it to the NBA. Because isn't it like overseas, you probably get paid more? Because I don't know what the G League life is like. Yeah. That's kind of why I was asking.
Yeah, it depends. And overseas, there's many different levels, and there's many guys who are making. There's guys making a lot less than I make, and there's guys making a lot more than I make. You know.
Yeah.
So it's there's different levels, and like, when I'm telling you, like it sounds crazy, but like no matter who I'm matched up against, like I still to this day think I could go play in the NBA right now. Right? No one else might think it, but I still think it, you know? And when I'm on the court with people, right? Like I'm not saying like I walk around saying that, but
Well, that's the
that
mentality
like,
you got to have.
Exactly, right? If you don't have that mentality, you have a 0% chance. With
Correct.
that mentality, your chance is still incredibly low, but you know, it makes it a little bit more fun. But yeah, I mean, if you're not trying to make a run at the NBA, the G League's probably not the lifestyle that you want. Whereas like over here, like overseas, depending on where you are, and I mean we can get into that, like lifestyle can be very, very difficult. But like where I'm at right now, I mean it's a really nice life, you know, it's very enjoyable. I've got my wife here, you know.
Yeah.
So there's many positives and negatives to everything, every country, every league, G League, overseas. Everything's different.
Whatever you want to do, man. Like I wouldn't put it against you. Like I'm not buttering you up. I honestly really think you're one of the best players I've ever seen play live. Not even just at the Noonan tournament, because like Julio was saying, like when you started playing again, like the whole thing was Duncan Robinson, whatever, blah blah blah. And all I kept saying is the best player on that team is Dev. You know, I get like Duncan. You know, I'm not trying to throw him on the butt. Like, you know, he was going to be in the draft, so he wasn't probably playing as hard, but like you were just killing everybody and anybody that tried to guard you. So, you know, I definitely was an instant fan. And then obviously, you know, Julio and I wanted to get you on and kind of, because I think this is so interesting hearing your journey and stuff. What was it like? I guess like I've never been to South Dakota. What the hell is that like?
Oh, dude, it was so I've never been either. And I got a really funny story about South Dakota that I'll tell you. But so yeah, I'd never been either, and I got that call, and it was like, I got a pretty good scholarship to prep school, but it wasn't 100% free.
Mm-hmm.
And so like my whole thing was like, I'm not going to prep school and then gonna ask my parents to help me pay for college, or like, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm going to prep school, and there's no other option. I'm getting a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
So even though like me, I'm from New Hampshire, like. I love New Hampshire more than ever. New Hampshire, like my family's in Vermont, like that area, New England, right?
Yep.
Like I didn't want to leave that at all. There was no interest in leaving. But then they called and they said, "Yeah, we've got a full scholarship for you." I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." And you get out there, and Sioux Falls itself is not a bad city.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot going on, but for me, it doesn't really matter if there's a lot going on. It's just not my style. It doesn't really matter. But it just, I was so far from family, man. And it's funny. I always say like all the stuff that Stan, my coach at SNU, loved about me, how I kind of have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder on the court, you know, how I do all this other stuff, like sometimes I curse on the court, like I'm a very different person on the court than I am off the court. My coach at Augustana, who's also a very good coach, has had an amazing career, he didn't really like that about me, and he'd never seen me play. I was there on word of mouth, right? So like, so like it wasn't the right spot. But the craziest thing about South Dakota, right? And so I played in this thing. My first game ever in South Dakota was at our home gym, the Sanford Pentagon, right? And then my last college game ever was is the NCAA Division II All-Star game, right? So my first game I didn't play. I sat the bench the whole game. My parents flew out. My parents and my grandma flew out. Right? I sat the bench the whole game, right? And then my last game was in Sioux Falls also. It was for the Division II All-American game. Right, I played in the Division II All-American at the same gym, the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So it was crazy. It was kind of like a whole, like, I think the term is 180 from not playing at all to then playing in that same gym 4 years later as an All-American. It was, and my family was there too, so it was crazy. It was that's a wild story I got from Sioux Falls.
That's legit.
And I'm assuming too that you were in practice just killing, right? Like those guys couldn't really check you either, right?
Dude, in practice killing, like they were really good, like. And it's a very different style of play in the Midwest than in the Northeast. Mm-hmm. So like kind of like my like you said, like dribble up, like size a guy up, make an in and out spin move. Like they didn't really love that style out there. They wanted to move the ball, move the ball.
Which you can do. You can do.
I can definitely do that. But as a young player, I just wanted to kill. You know, I want to kill everyone. And I'm the best teammate. Like I'll never be a bad teammate, like ever, right? But I'm not happy if I'm not playing. So like they had plans for me being a rotation guy and all this, and I was like, I'm gonna go to junior college and figure it out. Like I want to play 35 minutes. You know, I'll figure it out. You know, so that didn't interest me to be a to be a 7th, 8th, 9th man, which you need those guys on your team. But I was like, I got 4 years to play. If I want to sit the bench, I go home and sit the bench, you know? So that was my kind of thing.
So Dev, I know we're bouncing all over the place, man. I got a whole notebook just full of shit. So just, don't mind me, man. I'm just a fan. Like I said, I got so many questions to ask. But when you were like, expressing or checking out different countries after the G League and kind of seeing where you wanted to go, your agency now, I know being an agent is very difficult because you got to sell a player, but you also got to sell them to a team who's willing to kind of open up a spot for a guy of your caliber, correct?
Right.
You're not going to go in there, like you said, and just come off double screens and, be a Duncan Robinson. Was it a hard sell for your agent to sell you and say, hey, this guy needs touches. This guy needs to, play downhill. He might need some isolation touches, but he can do the other things that you need him to do. Was it a hard sell for you?
So I think that I struggled my first year. Not struggled as I played well, but it was, I think, when I said that the thing with Klutch Sports didn't end up working out was because I feel like they were selling me as that guy that you come off double screens and catch and shoot and space the floor. And so when I got my first place I played internationally was Sweden, in the Swedish league. And that's like a solid mid-level European league. It's not the highest level. It's not the lowest level. It's somewhere in the middle. Which for a rookie out of a Division II school is a good spot to be in. But my team was horrible. We were like last place in the league. And that's what I'm thinking. I feel like they brought me in as someone who's gonna run across screens, and like the offense that they had was kind of meant for me to do that. And I don't know, like I'm better now, but at that time that I was really uncomfortable doing that. And I didn't really fit what they wanted. So this is some advice that I'll give if anyone listening to this is trying to get overseas. Like when I heard Klutch Sports, when they sent me an email, they called me, they said Klutch Sports, I didn't ask any questions. I just said, okay, let's do it, right? Whereas looking back, like I know some other guys who had better starts to their career, who were much smaller agencies, who like really knew them as a player and was able to sell them to that prospective team as what they really were. Whereas I really think Andy was, I'm not throwing him up, but he's a really good guy. But I think we were on a different page as far as what we should market me as. And that's just, some sort of advice.
No, I mean, that makes sense. Like if you just look purely at your numbers, right? And they were just trying to sell you as like, oh, this guy can be a guy that runs out the perimeter. But like if anybody's ever watched your game, I think that 3-point shot is just a complimentary to your game.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Absolutely. Word of mouth. So you're in Norway now and you're playing for Forya Basket. How's Norway? How's that vibe going for you?
Norway's awesome. So I've been around a lot of places. So since college, prior to Norway, I played in Sweden. Then I went to Canada for a year, and then I went directly to Australia, the second division in the summertime in Australia. So it's like their off-season league. And then I went and I played in Colombia in this thing called the Liga Americas. And then I got hurt down there, crazy training camp. And then I went directly to Indonesia, and now I'm in Norway. But after Indonesia, I had a good year. I made the All-Star game, like a good statistical year, but my team wasn't very good. But I was like, it was a frustrating year, with me and my wife. And like Indonesia is an amazing place with really, really nice people. But it just it wasn't the exact lifestyle that either me or my wife wanted to live. It's somewhere I'd love to go on vacation. But after that, it's kind of tough to live there for 7-8 months. So we came home and I was kind of like, I don't think I'm gonna play anymore. I want to look into coaching. And I was 26, so I'm like, man, maybe I'll just get into coaching, get a good start on that, because that's essentially what my career is going to be long term, I hope. And so, but with COVID, no places were hiring. So I just happened to get in touch with it was like another luck thing, like how I ended up at SNU. I happened to get in touch with a coach over here who's really respected, and he's had a lot of success. And I've known a couple guys, know a guy who played for him. And so I got myself this job. And I mean, the day-to-day life out here, the people are really friendly. The weather's tough sometimes, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's no worse than New England.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Those
mean, the
bad winters in
lifestyle.
New England. Some
Yeah,
bad
that's what I'm saying.
winters in New England.
Yeah, so we don't even get as much snow out here as New England. It's just like it's very dark out here. That's the one thing. Like it's more than New England. Like you at least get a couple hours of light in New England. Here's very dark. But yeah, it's been a really good season. Um, I'm on the youngest team in the history of the Norwegian League, and we're fighting for first place. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you talk about lifestyle a lot here, man, which is a very interesting topic. Because a couple of buddies of mine play overseas too, and like you said, it's very tough. I can't imagine, obviously, with your wife being out there. So you're kind of trying to keep both of you happy. I know it's a tough thing. Have you picked up any new hobbies or anything new to kind of like pass the time? Because a lot of guys, what they'll do is the off days are off days. They can kind of catch themselves watching Netflix for 8 hours because I know the season's so gruesome and training camp is also gruesome. So have you picked up anything new, meditation, yoga, or anything like that?
Well, yeah, I do meditate quite a bit. That's something that I started within the past year. Not really yoga. But another thing I do out here is in part of my contract when I was negotiating, I negotiated in something, again, since I wasn't working with an agent, I could negotiate my own contract where I work like I have so much free time out here. So like I work with some kids in the community, like do like where I just came from the gym. I worked out in the morning and then I worked with some kids for like 45 minutes, an hour, and then I came home, so like that gives me something to do where like when I was in Indonesia, I just sit in the hotel room all day, watch, and then go practice for 2 hours. And then like, that's like almost depressing, like,
Yeah.
like I love basketball. So like, I told them like, yeah, let me get in the gym with the kids for a little while. It'll give me something to do. I like the kids. They like basketball, So it's, and I think also like when I'm done playing, I can put that on my resume, that I was working with kids and stuff. So that's something that I do in my free time.
Just to go off that, what is it like over there working with the kids with like COVID? Is there like stuff you got to go by, like masks and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so when I first got here, COVID was like over. Like there was no COVID.
Word. Oh.
Life is normal. Yeah, it was crazy. I got off the plane and like coming from like I don't think we're at the height of our lockdown, but we were still in it back home. Yeah. And I got over here and life was back to normal. But then this fall, it did start getting pretty it started picking up a little bit. And right now they found a couple new strains of COVID this past like month or something. So our league's actually been stopped for the month. I think there's a press conference going on right now. So after I hang up with you guys, I'll figure out if my league's back to going. But yeah, so the kids they really have very little of the kids. Like the kids are pretty much able to play. We're not having games, but they're able to have like the training with the like what I just did with them for an hour, or like their actual their teams and stuff. They're allowed to train, but they haven't had games. And like with us with the professional league, their main concern is like traveling cities to city. So like they don't want like 10 of us to get COVID and then go travel to Oslo and then bring it with us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
So like with the kids, it's been pretty laid back as long as they stay in their own city. But yeah, it's still compared to the rest of the world, very low numbers. Like I think it's a country of 5 million. I think there's been 500 deaths in the country. So very different than the United States, but still some stuff going on.
So with the training stuff, is that connected to? I saw on your account it said that it's the Global Basketball Development Coach. That's what you're doing. We're plugging you, bro. We're plugging you, son.
That's what I'm launching, man. So like yeah, when I got home from Indonesia, I got home 2 months before my contract was supposed to end, and so like in Indonesia, like the day you leave, that's how much money you get. Right. So like in Norway, I'm signed for a year. So I get paid for no matter what. Like if we play, I hope we play more than anything. Right. But if we don't play, my money's still going to show up. But in Indonesia, like I got paid till the day I left Indonesia. So I got home and I had some money saved up, but nothing crazy. Right. And I'm like, I gotta start bringing in some money, man. And this is COVID. Right. So like, there's not a whole lot of stuff you can do. And so I started doing like social distancing basketball training where we followed the social distancing rules. Either did it with Zoom or through Zoom or like kept serious distance. And I did that all summer. And I'm really trying to, when I get home this summer, I'm really trying to launch it in the New Hampshire area where I can really do like I'm hoping that restrictions and stuff, I haven't really been following them too much back home. So we're like, when I say global, like I just try to take some things that like I have 2 great Serbian teammates out here right now. And like when you look at like statistically, like I think Serbians have the best basketball in the world. Like how small a country that is and how many players they produce. Like US has obviously got the amazing gene pool and the history and so many people play basketball. And obviously I still really love the US basketball. But I try to take things like even like Indonesia was a crazy basketball country, but like they did some certain things which I can't explain. I'm not up to date on them. I don't know enough about it. But like how they tried to train the mind, right? Like almost like martial arts type stuff. And that's something I have to do more research in before I can try to teach it to kids. But yeah, when I say global basketball, I'm just like I've been lucky. I played on 5 continents. Had teammates from probably countless countries. I don't know how many. So I try to pick little things up and then try to bring that back to New Hampshire, something that like when I was growing up, basketball in New Hampshire was not big. So now I hope I can help get a little bit bigger.
That's dope, man. That's really dope, Dev. You know, Maddie and I, we kind of do the same things where we're at. Maddie's in Mass, I'm in CT. So like I said, when you get back, if you need some guys to kind of feed some guys or, do some shooting drills or handle drills, like let us know. Chris Petsy is one of our guys, New Hampshire guys. We're just junkies, bro. We're junkies, man. So anytime we could be around basketball, that's great stuff, man. On that topic, man, like, do you have like a piece of advice for the young kids out there who want to kind of play at the next level, whether it's going to college or playing in overseas? I saw one of your tweets and I was really amazed by it. This was before we even knew each other. You said, if you can play pickup more than you can play or do drills and do cone stuff, play pickup 10 times out of 10. Do you still believe that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this thing, like skill work is very important. Like if anyone wants to follow my Twitter, I kind of throw some ideas out there every once in a while. I don't know the app, but I'll figure it out. But yeah, so like I never practiced basketball my whole life. And maybe if I did, then maybe I could be that guy that you run off screens, right? I never practiced, But what I did is I played every day for hours, man. Like I would go, it didn't matter where. Like that's why like I knew everyone in New Hampshire because like if there was an open gym, like I'm not exaggerating, I was finding my way there. Whether I had to call 5 people to get a ride, whether I had to walk, whatever, I was finding my way there. So like, but now what I do is I still go home in the summertime and like there's videos of me like you can find like I'll go to the park and play with like 4 guys who barely play basketball, right? But what I'll do is like this is like the next level that I try to break it down to. Like I'll go and I'll say like, okay, I'm only gonna take left-handed layups and I'm only gonna shoot a mid-range shot in this one area, right? Everything else I just gotta pass, right? So now it's like I might be playing against a guy who's not like doesn't know basketball like me or on like the same level as me, but like if I only give me these 2 things, it's better than going up against a cone that doesn't move. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes 100% sense. Yeah, I think I would agree with that take because like there's only so much if you just only do drills and skills, like you have to go against live competition to your brain to realize what you got to do in certain situations. And I think that's huge. But so next time you play in the Noonan tournament, that you can only use your left hand.
Yeah. I got to work on my left hand. I really got to work on it. So that would be perfect.
Bones over cones. That's what we say. Bones over cones, man.
Perfect.
For sure. Dev, man, I want to keep chopping it up with you, man, but we got to wrap it up a little bit. I don't know how long we've been going, but we can go for hours. Hopefully we can connect. I'll send you, more contact information. We can like get on more FaceTime and like I said, talk more hoop shit, man. Cause like I said, we can talk hoop for hours.
Sure.
But before we go, we have a little thing that we do. We took it from our college when I was in school. It's called either or. So I give you 2 things and you pick either or in the drop of a dime. You can't think about it, okay? All right, so it's gonna get a little funky, so just think about it, all right? Or you can't think about it. Maddie, hit the time. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready? Tell me when to go.
Go.
Biggie or Tupac?
Biggie.
PS5 or Xbox?
I got no idea. I don't play video games.
That's fine. Pizza or burger? Don't tell me you vegan. Don't tell me you vegan.
Pizza. I was vegan for like 3 months. Nah, pizza.
Starburst or Skittles?
Starburst.
Crew necks or a hoodie?
Crew neck.
Sandals or Crocs? Crocs are getting popping now, man.
Yeah, I never went to wear Crocs. I can't speak on it.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Reese's Puffs?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yes.
Canada or Australia?
Canada.
Yeah, that was a tough one for you. It seemed
I like
like.
Canada.
A foam roller or a massage gun?
Massage gun.
Zion or Sean Kemp?
Sean Kemp.
All right, last one here. It's gonna be tough for you. Matt Bonner or Duncan Robinson?
Oh man. What we talking, game or?
Man, you can't do it.
Duncan.
You gotta be Duncan, man. That's what's up, man. Hey, Dev, thanks again, man. We appreciate you having you on, man. Hope to talk to you more soon, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate it. See you guys later. Hopefully talk soon.
Thanks, Steph.
All right,
Thanks
boss.
for coming on.
Or maybe we can hash it out and make it right. You can call me when you need me, I'll give all of my advice. And just know that there's a sunny day for all the rainy nights. And just know that there's a sunny day for all the rainy nights. And just know that there's a sunny day for all the rainy nights. I'm just trying to be alright with it, yeah. I'm just trying to be alright with it, yeah. I'm just trying to see the light in it. I think we should take a ride with it, yeah. I'm just trying to spend the night with it, yeah. I just wanna be alright with it. I'm just trying to see the light in it. I think we should take a ride with it. Hey, I got no resolutions, I'm just hoping for some.